everybody, Rose here, and you're watching Queer Shakespeare. Most people nowadays don't really think of Achilles as being gay. As a matter of fact, he's a pretty stereotypically masculine heteronormative figure. But if you read or watch Shakespeare's play Troilus and Cressida, based on the Trojan War, your opinion might be changed. Or if you Google Achilles and Patroclus, since the third result is a fanfiction website. In Troilus and Cressida, Achilles and Patroclus are practically inseparable. Neither of them really wants to fight in the war, and they've simply taken to lazing around in bed together in Achilles' tent all day mocking the generals. While the nature of their relationship isn't super explicitly laid out in the text and can be portrayed as platonic with some reaching, it's still pretty darn evident. This is mostly due to the taunting of another character named Thersites, and his never-ending nicknames for Patroclus such as Achilles Bitch, and Achilles Male Varlet, and, why, his masculine whore. Despite how few people have heard of it, Achilles and Patroclus' relationship isn't entirely a creation of Shakespeare's. While Homer didn't really portray the two as being lovers in the Iliad, a lot of classical Athenians still believed it was implied. In ancient Greece, relationships weren't defined by what gender each partner was. They were defined by the role taken during sexual relations. There was always an active lover and a passive lover, the active lover being the one doing the penetrating, while the passive lover was the one being penetrated. While sexual or romantic desire between two men wouldn't be looked down on or kept private, men were still expected to be super masculine and warrior-like all the time, and as the role of passive lover was more typically associated with femininity, male passive lovers became stigmatized. So even though there was significantly less heteronormativity in ancient Greece than there is now, some still managed to creep into their society. This culture is alluded to in Troilus and Cressida in Patroclus' line, "To this effect, Achilles, I have moved you. A woman impudent and mannish grown is not more loathed than an effeminate man in time of action. I stand condemned for this. They think my little stomach to the war, and your great love to me restrains you thus." While Achilles is still a warrior, at this point in the play he's lost all interest in fighting and just spends all his time with Patroclus. In this speech, Patroclus points out that this would be seen as feminine, which would be the worst possible thing for Achilles at this point, since he's already lost the favor of the generals for his seeming laziness. Patroclus is already looked down on and treated badly for being more feminine, and he feels he's dragging Achilles down with him. Despite the real meaning of being a passive lover or an active lover, in society it wasn't exclusively based on sexual preference. The active lover was often stereotyped to be the older or stronger as well as more masculine of the two. However, based on these stereotypes, it was pretty complicated for Achilles and Patroclus. While Patroclus was the older of the two, Achilles was the stronger and more masculine, being a warrior, while Patroclus didn't like fighting. And like fans on Tumblr today speculating about which of their favorite characters would top or bottom, a lot of classical Athenians engaged in debate about which one would take which role. As a matter of fact, in Aeschylus's play The Myrmidons, one in a series of 3 about the life of Achilles, he portrayed Achilles and Patroclus as being in a sexual relationship. Not very much of that play is left today, but part of what is left involves Achilles referencing kissing Patroclus's thighs. Plato took issue with this portrayal of their relationship. He believed Aeschylus had been wrong about who was the top and who was the bottom. So basically, Plato and Aeschylus were just full-blown fangirls. Alright, that is all for this video. Make sure to click the subscribe button I have put right here if you want to see more of my videos, and I've put a link to my last video if you missed it right over here. See you next time. Bye!